How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we've got something a little bit different than we normally have on the channel, because recently, due to time constraints and stuff like that, we've only had really gameplay and deck profiles. But I did previously, on this last weekend, that's gone, take part in the Cardiff Planetary Qualifier, because we got 3 qualifiers this month for the UK, and we had Sheffield the week before last, then we had last weekend Cardiff. We got this coming up, one being the Edinburgh one, and I attended the Cardiff one because it's literally right next to Bristol, like it's literally the closest one to go to. So of course we're going to go to it. Got our tickets early and everything, and I was going to take to it Blue Han, but then after taking to locals and making some mistakes and not having the best best go at it for that locals, kind of got amended it a little bit, and then wanted to have a backup plan about Palpatine, because I thought Palpatine would be a good one to help go against it. But then I wanted to play Palpatine Yellow because I had some good experience in set 1 and really enjoyed this. I preferred way to play Palpatine, so I went ahead and put together those 2 lists, Han Blue list and Palpatine list, like meant them to kind of be there to kind of combat the meta, and also had Cad Bane Red in reserve, and then had just basically decide on one on the way to the tournament, decide which one I wanted to play. And in the end, I thought I'd just go with Palpatine Yellow because I have really enjoyed that one. It's been probably one of my favorite decks of the game so far, and I felt a bit more confident of having a better time with that than Han Blue. And but then, because I expected mainly I expected there to not be many Sabine, because I think one of my locals that went to Sheffield said there wasn't many, well, there's barely any Sabines there, and I thought that'd be the case for this event as well. So not many Sabines, so I should be fine with Palpatine going in there, kind of combat the meta and avoid the worst matchup being Sabine. So that's what I ended up doing, taking that with that assumption. And as you see from the thumbnail, I went up against a lot of Boba. So we'll go over that now. But before we get into the video properly, because I've kind of rambled a little bit, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts to when the videos do drop. By then, watch them there and then, or at a later time it suits you best. So with that out of the way, let's go have a look and kind of have a little go over what was involved with the Planetary Qualifiers a little bit, because you might not know what it is or be wondering what these are. So Planetary Qualifiers are basically the regional level things of Star Wars. So like how in other games you have like regionals, and I didn't know them as regionals really, or like big like things that qualify you to the big like finals of that region or worlds kind of thing. And for Star Wars, they wanted to kind of have a competitive season, so they made it for set 2 have a start off the competitive season being season 0, so the first season before like it properly kicks off, so like the initial series 1 to kind of get us used to it. So season 0, and for set 2 they sorted out or at least in UK, I don't know where else for the other parts of the world, like in the US and stuff, and I don't really pay attention to that much. But they started off in the UK with 3 planetary qualifiers being Sheffield, Cardiff, and Edinburgh. Kind of give us a taste of it all in November, and we get more set 3. So with those, they're like kind of bigger events to kind of get some promos, and as you've seen, like they start off quite nice with like the promos for events like Store Showdowns, like with like Mace Windu and Takedown, and then they kind of dwindled now, but they seem to have be aware of that the player base is not really happy with it because the promos aren't that great, not enticing. I know our set 2 Showdown had a lot less people, just where the promos just weren't that enticing to have people attend or want to attend for it, even though it's like a bigger event. And the same thing could be said for the Planetary Qualifiers, because remember it was top 64 get the entry promo, but then they changed it to find the sort out being not just 64, which is like half the attendance, but have everybody get one, and then kind of add a little bit more, I think, packs and stuff maybe to the top cut. But you go there for like trying to get the prize cards, and they're trying to win that whole day 1 skip of the Planetary Qualifiers, because we don't know where that is yet, the Planetary Qualifiers. But if you win one of these Planetary Qualifiers, you get a free a day 1 skip of the Galactic Championships, which is like I imagine like the worlds and stuff like that, like the big worlds of the game. So for the Planetary Qualifier for Cardiff, these are the details we had in total. I think it was capped, like all tickets were bought as of because I know 2 of our locals bought the last 2 tickets to get into it, and it was supposed to be 100. It was 120 20 player cap, but in the end, only 108 players attended because on the day of, there was train issues coming from the I can't remember what it's called now, the middle of the UK. I can't remember. It was I can't remember the name of it. It's just blank now. But from Birmingham area, so a lot of players who come from Birmingham couldn't make it because the trains were cancelled and they couldn't really rearrange anything at short notice because it was fine until the morning of. So they couldn't make it. So we had 20 people that could show up, but still 108 players is pretty good. Pretty good for a Planetary Qualifier as well, and for a first lot. And it would have been more if their trains were running on time. And due to the number of people as well, because it was almost maxed out, we had 7 rounds of Swiss. So 7 rounds of Swiss, and it was followed by a top 8 cut. So it went on to top 8, then on top 4 in the finals after that. And the games were, as well for all of them, Swiss and top cut, best of 3 with 55 minutes for each of the rounds. And it started at 9:45, which was a pretty early start. I know most people got there, there's loads of people waiting outside like we were as well, waiting for it to open at 8:30, and then add up to 9:30, so an hour for registration to go and register and get ready, and then 10 minutes wait until we actually properly start the event. And it went really well. I know I've been to the store before and for a store showdown, and that wasn't a great experience. And even for Evergames, I've been at the same store and it's not been a great experience. So for this event, I was hoping it would be good, but then my hopes weren't up because I've had a bad experience for as I said, previous games for the Star Showdown as well. I was there, but it actually was run pretty well, and there seemed to be no issue, no problem with the event at all. Sounds good, and yeah, it was quite nice. We met a lot of different people, a lot of fun games. Even though I actually I could play a lot of Boba, I still enjoyed playing the games and enjoyed playing the game in general, which is very nice. Nice to see on a bigger event. And this is the deck I ran. So this is the list I ran. So Palpatine Yellow made top 16 with it. I think I came 14th in overall. And I do have some small changes I would make. So as you can see from the top, from the 2-drops and stuff, we've got the Crumb and Yularen combo for healing. This was very, very, very good, keeping me healthy and keeping my damage quite low. Because Yularen is basically including just when you play a green unit, or including itself as well, you get to heal a damage from your base, and that would Crumb, because Crumb when played heals a damage. So you have Yularen comes out and heal 1, and then you play Crumb and that heal never 2, and you can keep doing that because Crumb can keep bouncing itself by pinging a damage on a unit in the ground arena, and then bounce it back to hand, so you can keep repeating it over and over again to get a good amount of heal. And as you see, mostly all the units outside, about 3 I would say, 3 units are green, so they're going to trigger Yularen when he's on board the heal, which is very nice. I only had 2 Crumb because I felt like 1 would be enough to keep, 2 would be enough to keep recurring, but I did have 1 in the sideboard just because I needed more healing for certain kind of matchups. And in the benefits of yellow I had in the decks, you can see there's not many yellow cards in the deck. We've got 3 no good to me deads to help deal with Boba, because yellow and green are very great interaction with upgrades, taking off you have Bamboozle, which you technically could go for. I could have probably put Bamboozle on it because you can play it for free if you discard a yellow card from your hand, but then you're losing more cards from hand. But then Palpatine doesn't really have the issue with cards in hand too much. We got no good to me dead to kind of lock down problem things like leaders like Sabine, lock that down as soon as it deploys, and even same with Boba as well. Then also you got sneak attack as well, being a 2-cost event that lets you play a unit out for free less than its normal cost. So if it's 3 cost or less, it plays out for absolutely free, and if it's higher, it just reduces the cost of it by 3. Comes in ready, so it can attack straight away, straight to base, not have to wait a turn to do it. But then it dies at the end of the turn. But then that's not too bad, because you can then just kill it off with Palpatine before it does die, and also you can use it to kind of get those last kind of swings in when your opponent thinks that you can't push any more damage to your base, or to their base. So I had some of those in. I didn't have it at 3 for the previous set for set 1, but I've reduced it down to 2 for this to make way for some other cards. And then we've also got the 1 Motty as well. I did have 1 Motty because I do like it when I can resent any Dark Leader, and it's great with Palpatine because you can swim with Palpatine, pop it, ping a damage, resent Palpatine, so you can get a lot more trouble to kind of refresh your hand and give yourself quite a lot of cards in hand, or even restand things like your Devastator or Vader, which is very, very cool, and it's something you can play off Vader as well, because a lot of cards you play off Vader, which is a really nice little combo, because you can play any of the 3 cost ones you can see just based straight out from it. So you've got 4 different 3 costs you can play straight out as just 1 unit off Vader. or you can get a combination of Crumb with either Bazine or Motti to then go ahead and get 2 units out, 1 healing and then 1 doing either something like Restart Beyond the Restand units, or get a look at your opponent's hand and kind of get rid of any problem cards you don't want from it. And then for Sour Green units aren't dark, they were helpful. Gamorrean Retainer and Scanning Officer. Scanning Officer helping with dealing with having a look. Well, just being off. Like it's literally just there to be an official for what the Emperor's Royal Guard. So you can play its turn 1 Royal Guards after to get then a Sentinel with 5 health on turn 2, which is really good. It helps, especially help against things like Sabine. And also has that little bit of a niche. You'll look at your opponent's resources, up to 3 of them, and see if they got any smuggle cards. Kill off any smuggle cards they got and replace them with the top card of their deck. So a really handy card there. But yeah, it's mainly there for the official because you always play Yularen, or if you don't draw Yularen, you want everyone to kind of play turn 1 to make it so your Sentinel from Emperor's Royal Guards are there. And then Gamorrean Retainers are never Sentinel, so you can see we've got a lot of Sentinels in here. It's a never Sentinel in the ground arena as long as you've got Evergreen unit. And if you play it turn 1 and play an Evergreen unit, say like Yularen and stuff, it's then a Sentinel to make sure it's protecting your units. And also diverting attacks away from your base as well. And also we've got Bazine. This is one that I'm probably gonna cut Motti to put a 3rd one because it's so good. Having this on turn 1 to basically, especially for against Evergreen decks, to take away their ramp, or even just disrupt your opponent by taking it away. Like I did play one Sabine in the tournament at the last round, and it was crucial because some of the games I won, I did open with Bazine, so I was able to play it turn 1, take out their only card they can play the first turn. They didn't draw another one, and then they just had a turn when they didn't do anything. So I'm literally surviving a little bit longer to then go ahead and ramp and take over the game. So I'm do want to up this up to 3 to kind of increase that chance and take away Motti, because Motti, while I did use it a few times in the tournament, it wasn't as beneficial as a Bazine would be, especially an opening hand. And for the 3 drops, you've got the Sentinels and the ramp, being the Sentinels being the Emperor's Royal Guard, which if you have an official out, which your leader is, or like things like Yularen, Motti, and Scanning Officer are, you get Sentinel, and then because your leaders, as long as you've got Palpatine either on board or as a leader, it gains an extra 1 health, so it's always going to be a 3/5, which is really nice. But if you've got an official out, it becomes a Sentinel as well. Then you got the not cell block guards, Phase 3 Dark Trooper, which is essentially like a instant replacement for the cell block guards, because the green card, and unlike cell block guard that help with Yularen but healing, is a Sentinel, just like cell block guard being a 3/3 Sentinel with at cost 3. And the benefit it has over cell block guard, as that's not just being green, is that fact that if it takes damage and survives, it gains an experience. So like it can take out little things that are weaker than it, and they gain more experience, so that it's hitting harder, or things that can then potentially take it out are taking more damage than they would before. So if you attack into like a card that has 1 or 2 power, it's going to then gain experience to be even stronger, and make it so the next card that tries to take it out is going to take a lot more damage, or maybe just out, or if it's a weaker one trying to just clash into it, it might not be able to take it out. And you got the Space Sentinel being the Black Starfire. I was going to play that aspectless one. I can't remember what it's called now. The one that's a 2 cost 3/2. But I thought I didn't really need that too much of space. I didn't need too much of space to deal with it, because it got Overwhelming Barrage. As long as you keep thinking, if they go in space, you can put things in the ground arena and then use Overwhelming Barrage to clear them from space. Like that. So I only switch up that to not need to aggress for that way, to put in some more Blacks and Starfire. So I got more options to bring off of Vader, to kind of make sure I got Vader, take out Sinking Ground, and have a Sentinel in space, and just have more options for space to kind of defend through things like Fet's Fire Spray and stuff like that. And then for the ramp, we've got the 3 copies of Resupply, just the ramp instantly straight away, and then Super Laser Technician, which is a great one, because you can play it out as ramp and then just swing to base rather than just have to ram into a leader. You don't have to ram it into your opponent. So if your opponent doesn't play anything in the ground arena, so you don't have to crash with Super Laser Technician, Palpatine's got his own version to do that by just killing it off and then picking damage to any unit they might have in space or ground, and drawing a card as well. So you're getting ramp and draw, and you're not losing any resources because Super Laser Technician comes into your energy active, ready to use, so you have the same amount of resources you had when you did use the effect to pop them. And then goes to 4 drops, you've got our last little bit of ramp being Command. This being a very handy card. You're normally going to use it for its ramp because it gives you 4 options. It does cost more, it does cost 6 because you're not playing double green, but it gives you an extra bit of ramp and also some useful abilities. Like the damage part is never good. Like I never had a chance to really use it because most things were unique when they were played. Well, that I wanted to take out. So the main thing you're either doing is grabbing a unit back from your drop, which could be really good. Just getting back some of those units, like getting back, say, a Devastator you lost, or like a Yularen back, or a Chrome, things like that. Just like units that you could be really handy grabbing them back if you've got nothing else, or giving 2 experience to a unit, being like you can boost one of your things like Palpatine while ramping as well, but you're always going to go ramp on one of those 2. Then for the rest of it, we've got the Overwhelming Barrage, a stable friendly deck, just giving a 2/2 boost to any unit and then allowing it to do its power as damage among the board. It's fantastic because like one of the best cards in the game. And I kept in 2 traitors because I thought that'd be handy for just taking things, because especially if you're going against one thing people put in for control if they're playing yellow is the, I can't remember what the name of the unit is, but the unit that can't take damage or be captured or be defeated by effects of your by your opponent. So that's a free cost. You can use traitors to take that, so that way you've got a unit that can't be dealt with outside of damage or bouncing. So that's pretty good. Or like in aggro, take the unit that they've put, a small unit they've put down after you've ramped once, and then be able to fight back with their own units, which is good. And it's a nice thing because you can take your opponent's units, then you can kill it off as well. And I did at one point in, I can't remember if it was a friendly game or actual game, I took an opponent's Super Laser Technician with it, so that way I can pop it and then get the ramp, as my resources, not theirs. And then for our last events, we've got 2 Change of Heart, because that's another good thing about Palpatine is you can use Change of Heart to take on your opponent's units. And normally the downside is if you don't end the game that turn, you give it back to your opponent at the end of the turn. Palpatine can use his effect to just then either attack or use his effect if he's in the lead area to then pop that unit you took after you've used it, and then draw a card, and then they don't get it back. So you remove the unit, made use of it as well, and draw a card. And then Palpatine's Return being a handy card because it then acts as more like extra copies of some of the units. Like even though I'm playing I only can play 3 Vaders, 1 Force Walker, and only playing 2 Devastator, it means I've got 2 extra copies of any of those cards in the form of Palpatine's Return. Because if I do mill them or if I do lose them after using them, I can bring them back. So I can play a Vader. Vader essentially like comes down, ambushes something, think it's taken out. I can replay the Vader back from the drop using Palpatine Return, and I play it for less as well thanks to the effect. Even though I can't play the other ones for less, still paying 8 to then play a Reinforcement Walker back from my drop after I've played one out, lost it, and then playing it back, so I'd have to draw into another copy, is very handy. And then for the big boss cards, we've got 3 Vaders, just a fantastic card, comes in ambush, very good stats, brings out more things on board, either like Crom and another 2-cost Dark, being Multi Obscene, or bringing out one of my Sentinels, or a Super Laser Technician to increase our ramp, is very, very good. Very, very good. Then Reinforcement Walker, just once again being another big unit that's on board is hard to deal with, and then also giving the option to potentially either increase my options of cards like hand size, or healing is fantastic. Just getting that heal like it saved me, especially as a trio. Crum, Yularen, and Reinforcement Walker together are an insane healing trio that will just make it so your opponent cannot kill you, because they won't be able to do enough damage through that and all the rest of the stuff you can do. And then the last thing, Devastator being the way to kind of like clear space and not worry about it. But if you can wrap it far enough and drop a Devastator, you're taking something out, because you're doing probably like 9 or 10 damage. I say 9 because you can cheat out with Sneak Attack. That's the one, to bring it out a little bit cheaper and a little bit earlier. Like you will lose it, but then you'll come down, do the damage, at least 9 damage, and then swing with it straight away before then popping it with Palpatine. So that's a good thing of it. But it normally just comes down, does 10 damage, normally killing something, and then being a big sentinel in space the opponent can't attack through, and then you can start attacking their space units, piercing through it as well thanks to Overwhelm, and just making it so your opponent can't touch you in space. And if you lose it, you can either play another one or play Palpatine to return it back, and normally you're using its effect to deal with damage to a ground unit, because they have to go through it to be space in a 10-10. It's hard to get through it with like a little space unit as well. So that is the list. As I said, the main changes I'll probably make is just switching Moti for a 3rd Bazine, and I think the rest of it feels absolutely fine for the yellow. I do want to kind of put in a 3rd Sneak Attack, but I'm not sure what. Remove maybe 1 Change of Heart or 1 Traitorous maybe. Remember the sideboard? This is where the sideboard, you probably look at it and think that is pretty terrible. It is pretty terrible, because I was unsure what to put in and what for, because I hadn't had much testing with this before outside of set 1. I had to test it in set 1. Then as soon as you got set 2, I was testing other things. Europe. but I didn't really know exactly what to put because I hadn't tested a good amount of cuisine, because I've mainly been testing Blue Hand for these things. So I had in one restock for just because I play against a never control deck to make sure I'm not losing to like being milled out or out controlled, like I can win the long game. An extra crumb as well, just I need for extra heal, because I didn't really always want to have it for the main, but if I need it for like make sure I need enough heal, then I'd an extra copy of crumb. One confiscate as well, which I probably should have put in two to help take away things like Boba's armor mainly, like they basically come in and take away Boba's armor because it's hard to deal with Boba when he's got the armor on with this deck, so should have put more copies in. And then I also had 2 copies of Spark Rebellion, so I'm once again playing control. I put quite a bit in for control, even though I probably shouldn't have bothered with that. I should have been happy with how it'd be against control. But yeah, I would have 2 Spark Rebellions, so I can hit me with my opponent's restocks or their big units from the hand, and it only costs, unlike other units or other versions of Palpatine where it costs 6, this only costs 4 because the only aspect out of aspect is the heroic one. Then we also add an SR Skiff for like a nice little cheap ambush units. If you can do things like get your Larn, get Sentinel out, you can use Escort Skiff on turn 3, or if you, turn 3 should be ramping, won't be ramping until turn 2 anyway. So then come down and take something out before it gets going, like a nice little handy card there. And same thing with Bounty Hunter's, Bounty Hunter Crew, I think it's called, because it's quite small at the moment. Bounty Hunter's Crew to come in and do the same thing, like ambush, only a 4/4, which is high costing for a 6, but it also then gets back an event. So if you've used up something like no good, get that back so you can do it again, or get back an Overwhelm Barrage, or like Palpatine's Return. You know, get back things like Barrage, No Good to Be Dead, or Palpatine's Return, which is really good. You can even loop it with Palpatine's Return as well to go get back return, use return and grab back to get back the Palpatine's Return and ambush. So use it like that. That's not the greatest way to use it, but you can do it. And then for the bigger units, we've got 2 Relentless being in things for against, once again, more for control to stop those events from going off unless they have to play around it. And then 1 Choose Sides to be able to switch one of my small units, which I could put down, like put out like a Scanning Officer and trade it for one of my opponent's big units, which is pretty good. Or like drop a Vader next turn, Choose Sides, take one of their big units using that. I only have the 1 copy now because I did have Order 3, but they didn't come in time. I did get 1 through, so I had to make do with 1. But even now, I'm not even sure this would be a good option to have. Like, I do need the sweet sideboard, but for this event, I didn't have much to go with it, and that's what I thought would be useful. But I will probably put more things in the deal with Boba and Sabine, because I don't need to worry too much about the control, really, as long as I got the restock, really, and maybe the Relentlesses. So that's my list, and then this is how I did with the event overall, rounds. So my rounds, as I said, I came in 14th place. I placed in the top 16 to get one of those Everson promos, which are 16, which is quite nice. Happy to get one of those. And get a couple of packs and also a Firestorm Games initiative token, which was quite handy because I did lose mine. I've been using the great one I've got from Johnny, shouts to him, with my Discord link, QR code on one side and then my logo for the other side, which is pretty cool. So, like, I had a good time playing just Boba. I played 2 different leaders and a majority of 1, and then my worst match for the last one. But I played round 1 against Boba Green, so this was against Alec from my locals. Yeah, I played before, I think playing Palpatine, and I lost because I messed up. And for this one, I lost to a Swift 0-2. We did play 1 fun game, and of course that was the one I won the fun game after. And yeah, it was a pretty fun, pretty quick as well. And yeah, just Boba is a better yellow green deck, and that's probably a problem at the moment. Is that like you want to play anything like villainy green or villainy yellow, Boba can do it in any different aspect. So like I do like playing Palpatine, but yeah, Boba does it better. And then I played then after that I was like, okay, cool. Alright, 1 down, I have to just try and win all the rest of my rounds, try and get in the top 8. And then for the second round I played in Never Boba Green. I was like, oh cool. Never Boba Green. That's cool. I've kind of learnt from the first one with Palpatine, so I should hopefully be alright. And this went pretty well. I think I lost the first game. So I lost the first game, not too bad, like still trying to get through it. And then the second game, I managed to get the ramp, and he didn't open the best. I think I got more ramp than him, and managed to get out, control, like keep his Boba locked down with No Good to Be Dead, and then take the game after establishing my board. And then for game 3, he bricked horribly. Like, he didn't open great and then mulliganed. And he showed me his mulligan after, and his mulligan after a mulligan, he drew out of a 6-card hand. It was 2 Vaders, 2 Maul, a reinforcement, and overwhelming barrage. So he had nothing. He had everything 5 or higher in his opening hand. So he did nothing. He did nothing for the first 2 turns. What I opened, I think, not opened, but ended up seeing for the first few turns, triple Super Laser Blast. Super Laser Technician, and double resupply to make sure I'm ramping. So that was pretty good. So yeah, like, it was horrendous. Like, that was the worst opening I've ever seen, and just felt bad afterwards. Even saying that, is like very unlucky to get that kind of brick. And then after onto the 3rd round, I then was down paired against another Boba Green. So I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Third Boba Green. Is this all I'm going to get for the tournament? I swear I see all these other decks. I see other things. Like, I see other Palpatine decks. I see some Lando. I see some Rey. I see multiple different leaders, but I'm only seeing the Boba Green. And then this kind of went the same as the other one. Like, I managed to win the first game, get my ramp. Like, I think he got his ramp as well. And I got my ramp, but I managed to like take control later in the game and just make sure to take out his leader as quickly as possible, and then control by getting my bigger, better units out. And then for the second game, he had the same problem as my round 2 opponent, where he basically just bricked horribly and wasn't able to do much, and I just managed to see my ramp and just seal the game. So, wins so far have been from just my opponent's bricking in the last game we played, and just, yeah, not a good time for them. And then from round 4, I want to play another Boba Green. I was like, oh my god. I played the same deck 4 rounds in a row. And for this one, opponent was absolutely lovely, really like chatty. So we had basically a good amount of like talking, because he was also like a big fan of Palpatine, and he did like to play in the yellow version. And because of experience as well, he basically knew how to deal with it quickly. And I got swiftly O2'd. We even played a 3rd game for fun, and I got swiftly defeated from that as well. So he knew how to play, and he had a good amount. He had a good amount of ramp as well to basically get to his higher resource turns quickly to match me as well. So even when I had ramp, he had ramp, and just basically did better. Yellow green stuff than Palpatine does with Boba, and also the armor being a really annoying thing to make it harder and harder to deal with Boba lead as well. So I Swift to and also those were only 2 losses for the Swiss, and both my opponents there that I lost to both went on to make top cut, with Alec making 7th after Swiss, and then my round 4 opponent making a 3rd after Swiss as well. So I'm happy with the fact that both my losses were to people who made top 8, so that was pretty cool. And then round 5, sat down and had another Boba. I was like, oh my god, 5 Bobas in a row, but luckily this time it was yellow. And the nice thing about yellow is like, it's still Boba, but at least with it not being green, I have to worry about ramping up. Means I know the leader isn't coming down for at least until a certain turn, rather than green, where they can bring it out earlier, make it harder to deal with, and then just basically like steal the game away and just run laps around me. And this one I managed to take 2-0, because he did manage to push a load of damage. He was very aggressive, like throwing the damage on my base. But luckily I managed to just like survive it, hold off, get some healing in as well, and then basically get to a point where I was just like 3 damage away from death. I managed to like either use sentinels or healing to kind of hold off and basically just survive. And there's one point where I brought a Vader and then used overwhelming barrage on it. So like what I dropped the Vader before the turn before, ambush, took out something, and then I managed to. I think I took the initiative rather than swing with other stuff. Like, after he swung with all the stuff, I take the initiative so I can then take out something else. Because I had an overwhelming barrage. So I used barrage, boosted my Vader, took out those stuff, and he used, as I saw from his hand, a change of heart to take my Vader. And I was able to just deploy my leader and take back my Vader so he could use it, and then just basically, after he's used all his resources to play change of heart, just go ahead and take out his stuff, and also make my Sentinel alive as well, so he couldn't go from my base, and just clear the game, basically just take the game from there. So like a little bit easier with Boba Yellow, because I don't have to worry about the ramping getting higher, but I just have to worry about aggression, which hopefully I can deal with the healing and stuff like that, with like Yularen and Crom. And then on for round 6, I then went against Never Boba, so I was like, fuck, this is 6 Boba in a row, this is crazy. Like, I'm getting a bit sick of Boba now, but this time was red, so I thought, okay, this is never one where I don't have to worry too much about I don't have to worry too much about the ramping up to get the leader out quicker. And I was guessing since it's red is going to be the space focus, so I don't have to worry too much about my ground units being taken out. But I do have to find my things like Blackstone Starfighter to get out to then deal with his space units. And for the first game, I got absolutely obliterated because I managed to get out a unit turn 1. I think I put down a Crumb turn 1, and he's able to just take it out very quickly. I think like with McClunky, get like a Greedo out, McClunky it, take it out, play the Greedo back down. I was like, okay, that's I've lost my Crumb. Then I put out a Super Laser Technician so I can start ramping, and he's just waylay it back to my hand, so I just wasted a turn trying to ramp, and basically just making it later so that way he was holding off, stopping me from ramping so that way he can get his Boba down, drop his Boba with a Boba's armor, and then just push a load of damage, which I didn't see any no good to me dead for that game as well, to kind of like hold off Boba, and then proceed to just aggro me down, push me down for damage, and just take away in the first one, which then meant for going into game 2, I was worried, thinking, oh no, this is gonna be my third loss. I'm not gonna make top 6. I'm not have a chance of top 16. And then managed to game 2 just get so much healing out with like Crumb and Yularen surviving, and just be on a constant heal, and just basically just dropped a load of units. Yularen and Crumb stayed alive, kept doing like jump out for healing, and then getting more green units like Vader, bringing out more things to then make sure he didn't really do much. Like couldn't take me above 5 damage from my base, so that was pretty cool. And then for game 3, that was where it was like probably the most intense for the game, like the most back and forth, because he was trying to put like pushing damage, I was trying to heal and stay in it, and just making turns. Like there's a point where he took out one of my, I used both of my traitors to take 2 of his space units to kind of stop him from finishing me off in that way, and just taking all of them so he couldn't use them. And then he managed to take out 1, then dropped a Chimera, and I could heal that turn, but I could only heal down to an amount that Chimera could then. I couldn't heal outside of heal myself down to being out of the range of Chimera just swinging and killing me. And he did the turn before, swinging to my swinging to my units to then, or one of my Sentinels to then rip out my Vader from hand. But which meant that Vader didn't drop, and my only Hail Mary was to use the Palpatine's return I had in my hand, bring my Vader, and hope I hit one of my 2 last Blackstone Starfighters in my deck. And luckily that paid off, because it was the only way I could do to actually survive, because I couldn't heal enough to not be killed by a single Chimera swing, and he took the initiative, and I just had to do it, bank on that, and luckily I managed to get it. He didn't get anything to kind of just take out he didn't get a Daring Raider, I think, to take out my Black Stunfire straight away, so he had to swing into my Chimera after bouncing back my just swing into my Chimera to take it out, and I was able to push the last bit of damage to finish him off, and also heal enough that even with a Chimera swing, he couldn't kill me as well. So that was very intense, and lovely guy. Like all my opponents were lovely, which is great. I basically just had a nice time, and then I was like, coming to last round, thinking I've gone against 6 Bobas, I've gone against 4 greens, a yellow and a red. What would be a perfect kind of way to end this now? Let's go against the last Boba, so I only have Boba, and go against a blue variant, so that way I can have a full color spectrum and have Boba. And I guess my whining about only going against Bona throughout the tournament kind of bit me in the ass, because the last round, looking for my table, see I can get to which side I was on, and so my opponent had a Sabine on their deck box. I was like, oh no, I'm moaning about having Boba, and kind of sad that I wasn't going to get Boba Blue to finish the color wheel in my rounds, but now I'm getting probably my worst matchup. And quite luckily, my opponent didn't really know too much about how Palpatine Yellow worked, so that was a kind of nice thing. Wasn't aware, and I did end up taking it 2-1. And because the games I did win, I won game 1 and game 3, but game 2, my hand wasn't that great, and he basically was just on curve, just basically dropping and being as aggressive as possible, which I couldn't really deal with, and I didn't see the cards I need to kind of hold it off. So I got thoroughly destroyed game 2, so you saw how when I don't get my ramp and heal, how the kind of match goes. But for games 1 and 3, I opened both games of those Palpatine to basically look at his hand, rip out the only card he could play turn 1, and then he did draw into another card to play turn 1, so he didn't play anything for the first turn. And then from then be able to then start setting up Sentinels and ramps, that way he's then putting units down, back down, and when he does deploy Sabine, I was then going ahead and no good to be dead, so lock it down for 2 turns, so it can't really do anything. Like, you can deploy it out, but it won't be able to do anything, and just take it out with my units as well. So I was able to then get at least double ramp in both games, so that I can get out Palpatine, take one of his units that I've been paying the damage on or swung into to kind of put the damage out there, and then take it away from him and use his units against him, just clear his board and just manage that way, and then get out the trio of Yularen, Crumb, and Reinforcement Walker. I think both games I won, managed to get 2 Reinforcement Walkers down, so I was healing 6 a turn to and then basically either clearing his board or pushing damage to base to make sure I was healing out of his range of killing me, and also making sure his board was clear so he couldn't really do much, or just pushing damage on his base. Then I ended up finishing, going 5-2, which I thought was pretty good, knowing that I probably could make top 16. I had a chance for that, but I was happy just to make sure I'm still in top 32 to get whatever extra prizing it was, and I didn't have to stay until the end, like for even longer to play top 8, so I can go home after, because I've been up since half past or quarter past 5 at that point, getting up early to go and meet buddies to get a lift to the place. Get there early enough to then make sure they're ready to play. Starting very early, as I said, like be there for 8:30. Start like registration in 9:30, and starting from 20 to 10 for then on to play out. I think we then finished around about 5, because I know I didn't get home till well on 8 and stuff. But I had a very long day. I was happy in the end, like not make top 8, so I don't have to stay there for too long. Get home and just relax for the weekend. But then still make 14th place. So I still got an Everson promo, which is quite cool to get. Like knowing I got that probably game for top 16. And just had, even though I played only just Boba and Sabine, it was a lot of fun because I was playing a deck I enjoyed, and all my opponents were lovely, just playing some Star Wars. So that was it. So as I said, there's not many changes I want to make to the deck. I do need to sort out the side deck, but the only changes from the main would be to definitely switching out Multi for a third Bazine, and then maybe adding in a third sneak attack, but not sure what play out. Switch out maybe one Chitifant Palpatine in the side, maybe. But that's it. Thank you. Let me know how you feel. Like if you've got any suggestions for the deck or any advice or any questions, that's the best I can. But that's my experience. Love the day, and I'm looking forward to Edinburgh. So, thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next one. Bye for now.